Hey guys, it's Techno Freak, and welcome to episode 11 of my custom story creation tutorial for Amnesia Rebirth. And today we're going to be talking about enemies. So it's going to be a few parts to this to enemies. There's actually a lot regarding enemies, and I don't want to pass over it too quickly. I want to go into as much detail as I can about majority of the functions that we can use and for like ghouls and stuff like that. Because I know it's one of the biggest parts of the game, you know, spawning a ghoul or spawning an enemy and then, making them do stuff. So this is definitely going to be multi-parts. Not sure how many parts just yet. In my head, I'm thinking about 4 episodes just for enemies. And I don't want to go too fast on any specific parts. So if the video seems short, or it seems like there's not too much content, it's intentional. Just like I said, there's a ton of functions that we're going to be going through, and I might pick it up in the following episodes. But again, there's a lot to cover, and I don't want to overwhelm anybody. And I encourage everybody to just kind of take these functions I'm going to talk about and play with them yourself in your custom story and see what you can do, what kind of fun things you can put together. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to recap what we did in the last episode. In the last episode, we created a timer, and we placed a trigger area here that interacts with the player, and we have it call the function on collide player trigger bottom stairs, and this triggers our function here in our script file right here on collide player trigger bottom stairs. And what this does is that it creates a timer when the player enters the area. And then once the 10 seconds are up, it will call this onTimer function here called onTimer hallway ghoul spawns, which we defined right here. And all it does is just spawn in an entity. Now, I did have somebody mention that after their entity spawn, the game started crashing. I've noticed that if you don't have any paths programmed in for the ghoul or anything, or you don't have them do anything specific, it tends to kind of crash the game up a bit. So this should probably solve it. What we'll talk about here today, and it'll get you guys moving on your custom story. So first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and head back to our level editor here, and what I want to talk about are path nodes. So in the original Amnesia, path nodes were typically used for creating patrols for the enemy and stuff, and it still has that functionality. But in this game, it kind of defines also where the ghoul can walk to, like what places he can access. So these typically you want to place pretty generously around the map, so that if you have a ghoul, he can navigate properly. So I'm gonna place some down now. We're gonna place a few just here, and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm talking about the placements here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to our areas here, and we're going to go into the drop down here. We're going to scroll down until we find path node. We'll click on that, and now we can start placing the path nodes. I want to focus up here on this platform here, so I'm going to focus here so our grid can be right here, and I'm going to start placing some here, and I'll kind of show you guys the way I'm going to place these here. So I'm going to switch over to the path nodes again, and I'm going to kind of place some a bit like this, maybe a little close to that, maybe something like this, and I'll kind of explain what's going on. Actually, I'll do it in a path like this, kind of, and let's keep going. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go part way down the stairs here, just to kind of show you guys what I'm doing here. So we're gonna go down here. So let's go down further. guys. So this is kind of what I did here. So I kind of separate them a bit here in about of a grid shape. You could make a little more space between these, but I just wanted to kind of like put a lot here just to make sure that we got the full area covered here. But you definitely don't need this many. So here's how this works. So you don't actually have to link these nodes to any ghouls or anything like that. By default, the game will, let's say you want the ghoul to travel to like this node here. By default, the game will find like the shortest path to that node there. So what it'll do is it'll take the ghoul here, and then it'll just go, okay, shortest path, boom, 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 and then just kind of follow all the way down the shortest path. You might even cut across this way and come this way. So using these points, the game can kind of trace a path to where the ghoul wants to go. That includes if you're chasing the player, and I will show a bit of a demonstration of what happens if there's no nodes nearby. You'll see that he will like not go in a specific area. All right, so we got that done. Now let's go ahead and go back to our script. We're gonna actually give this a test run here. But let's go back to the script. I want to add one line to our script just for kind of like for what we want to do here. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over here, and we're just gonna add one line in the timer here that we have running. Once the entity is set active, we want to run a command here. It's gonna be ghoul set. That's gonna be it's ghoul mode set, and then we're gonna go ahead and open and close this here, or actually let's do it like this. We can kind of get the menu here to pop up. Ghoul mode, and then we're gonna say set. All right, and it requires three variables here. The first one is the name of the agent. That's what they call pretty much any entities, any kind of like active entities, like an enemy or something like that. The mode that you want to set the agent in, the mode that we want our ghoul to be in, and then the last one here is whether you want to force the mode change like immediately. So we're gonna type in the name of our ghoul here. It's gonna be ghoul underscore hallway, and then we're gonna go to the next. We're gonna put a comma space on the ghoul mode. We're gonna type in ghoul mode and underscore hunt is what we're gonna do. And just while we're here, I can kind of show you all these modes here. So they got a few different modes you can choose from. Some of these actually require you to do some setup before they work properly. And that will probably be its own episode, just like doing patrolling. They will probably be its own episode about talking. We'll probably go through every single one of these and talk about how to set all of these up. Probably maybe 2 episodes from now, but we will talk about every single one here on how to set them up. For now, we're just going to use hunt, which doesn't really require any setup beforehand. It will kind of just, when it sees the player, it will just immediately like charge at the player. And that's what we want. But you can also do idle, which means he's pretty much not doing anything. But we're gonna do hunt right here. And then since we have an equals false here, that means that the last variable here is already like has a default value, which is false. So we're just gonna leave it as false. We're not gonna change it. And we'll close out our line here. We got to make sure we include the functions, the helper functions that will let us use this command here. So we got to scroll to the top of our script file here. Up here we have all our includes. All of these right here were generated automatically when we just started our map for the first time. And this one we added so that we can run this player set can runs function right there. But we're going to include another one here. We're going to say pound include, and we'll do quotation marks here, and we'll type in helpers. And what we're looking for is this first one right here, helpers/helper underscore agent.hps. That's what it should look like there. Go ahead and hit save there. So this has pretty much all the functions we need for ghouls and agents and stuff. So since we're using a ghoul command down here, we need to make sure we have that included. So now that we have that there, let's go ahead and hit save and let's run our game. Alright, here we are back in our game. So we're going to go ahead and go downstairs. We're going to go ahead and trigger our timer. Just go all the way down. we get there, we're gonna step through, we're gonna come back up. So let's step through, and we're gonna come back up, and in 10 seconds our ghoul should spawn. So it's kind of like peek at him around the corner here, or else he will come after me. And you can see he's coming after me. And now here's kind of what I want to show you guys. So notice we put those path nodes, and right away he was able to trace the path to me. But as soon as he got to the point where we stopped putting those path nodes, he doesn't know how to get here anymore. So he can't do anything. So we go further down, he can't chase us or anything. He will charge at you from certain angles like that, but now he has no clue what to do. We kind of got him stuck down here. And usually when the ghoul gets stuck, he goes into like senses off mode, which means he can't do anything. So I think if I interact with him, he's not gonna do anything. Yeah, so when he gets stuck in a place like this where he has no clue how to get out, it will automatically go into senses disabled mode, which means that he won't do anything. I could like jump on him and he won't do anything at all. And it could crash the game too, so you gotta be careful with that too. So yeah, so you can see right away he was able to trace the path as soon as he saw me. And as soon as we got to the cutoff point where we stopped putting the path nodes, he stopped. So you want to make sure you put those path nodes all over your map. You don't have to go crazy like I did. You can separate them a bit more. Put like one here, one here, one here, one here. Like this platform, probably like max 8 points you will really need. Yeah, that's pretty much how you get them to start doing stuff. So let's go ahead and go back here, and let's exit and go back to our script. All right, so here we are back in our script. So as you saw, I'll pull up the level editor here. As you saw, those path nodes work properly. He was immediately able to trace a path to us and try to get to us. But as soon as he got to that cutoff point right here, you can no longer figure out how to get to us because we have none of these path nodes there anymore. So yeah, make sure in your levels you guys put these. Again, you don't have to put them so close as I did here. You can space them out a lot more. And then just try it. Maybe just when you're testing your level, make sure that he can reach kind of all the areas you want him to reach. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. So now we're going to be talking more about scripting for the remainder of the video. We won't really be going into the level editor for now. So let's go ahead and switch back over to our CodeLight application here for editing. And let's talk about some more functions. So I'm going to talk about all the important Ghoul functions that I want to touch on in this video. And you can see these just by going in a new line here and just you type in Ghoul, and you can kind of scroll down and see all the functions you have here. We're not doing we're doing just the Ghoul one, so we put an underscore here, and it kind of shows you these functions are specific for ghouls, or anything that pretty much is assigned to be a ghoul in the back end, at least. So we're going to be talking about some of these. Some of these we won't be talking about because I want to kind of save them specifically for their own video. Like these command ones, I want to do a video on those just by themselves. But there are some ones I want to talk about. So let's start going through the ones I wanted to talk about mainly. And I will talk about almost all of the ones that are not going to be in future videos already. So let's go ahead and start. So first thing I want to talk about is the set insta kill. So there's a command called set instant kill here. Ghoul set instant kill. And then what it requires is the name of the ghoul and whether or not you want it to be insta kill or not. We can include it here just so we can see it in our level here. And then same thing as always, just put in the name of your entity here. So ours is going to be the Ghoul hallway, and then we're going to put comma space, and then if you want it to be insta kill, set it to true. And then if down the line you wanted to change it, you call it somewhere else and then say false if you wanted to like turn it off. So that's insta kill. We will leave it for our test there. So set insta kill. Next, a good and important one here, because sometimes you don't want this, and this is Ghoul set smelling active. So let me just retype it so you guys can see the command here come up. Set smelling active. So this is it right here. And again, you can always see what the functions kind of ask for here. Agent name, the name of the agent, that's the name of the Ghoul that you assigned in your level editor. and then whether or not the ghoul can be attracted or not. So that's if you like throw something or something like that, you can attract his attention and stuff. So let's go ahead and click it here, and we'll go ahead and do this. We'll type in, you know, our the name of our ghoul here, ghoul hallway, and then we will type in true here. We want them to be distracted by any noise or anything like that. So you could do that. If you didn't want him to be distracted, you could just hit false. That way when he's doing that, you know, he can't. So I think by default he does smell. You don't need to set this to true. I find that setting this to false can make things a little bit better for when you're doing you're working with your ghoul. And the reason for this is because when you have, like, for example, the ghoul patrolling, or when the ghoul don't know where the player is, he'll very slowly move around, sniffing a lot, kind of like trying to figure out where the player is. And it kind of, if you want him to like kind of get from point A to point B fairly quickly, having smelling activated will make him take a really long time to get to that point. So this is really good to disable when you really want him to get from like point A to point B as fast as possible. So good to disable this for that point. If you do want him to kind of sniff out and try to find out where the player is, then you want to make sure this is set to true. But I think by default it's set to true anyway, so you wouldn't have to put that in here anyways. So that's a new one. That's a good one. We will set that one to false. We will set it to false, and we'll leave it here in our code here. So now the next one I want to talk about is going to be Ghoul. And then we'll do underscore, and we'll do set player throw forced direction. So what this will do, it will specify what direction you want the ghoul to be throwing the player, in case you want a specific direction. By default it's random, but let me just kind of pull up the command here again without selecting it, so you guys can kind of see what the values are for this one. So set player. So here you can see, I probably got to scroll down a little bit here so you guys can see. Let me kind of like make some space here and scroll down. Hold on. And scroll down here. So let's retype that so you guys can see. I just noticed that you guys were cut off a little bit there. So we'll do set player throw force direction. So if you look right here in parameter, you can see the values that it accepts here. So -1 means that it'll throw it in all directions. Of course, you don't normally have to specify this. By default, it is random, but you can specify a direction like 0, 1, 7 if you want them to throw forward. I believe it's relative to the ghoul. If he holds you looking in one direction, he'll throw you forward. Left, back, right, you can specify whichever one. So this is pretty cool. You can, you know, script like, let's say like you're at the edge of a building or something like that, and the ghoul's chasing you, and you want to make sure that when the ghoul grabs you, it throws you in like a specific direction. You can specify that here instead of having it random. So that's pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and do this just to kind of add it and demonstrate it a little bit. But we'll go ahead and type the usual ghoul hallway here, since that's the name of our ghoul. And then we'll hit comma, space, and then the direction. Let's just do forward, which I think was 0. So we'll set that to 0. And that's a good one there for you guys to play around with. So now the next one I want to talk about is it's gonna be ghoul set, and this is gonna be callback throw animation over. So it's this one right here, ghoul set callback throw animation over. And you can see the description of what it does, but it is just something that run after the player is thrown. Takes 3 values: the name of the agent, and the whether or not you want to remove. It takes the name of the agent, which is the ghoul, the function you want to run, and then whether or not you want this callback to only happen once. So let's actually type the stuff out here so you guys can see a little better here. So let's do set callback throw animation over, and now we're gonna type in our agent name, which is ghoul hallway here, and I got an S here, so let's let's change this to G here. And then this is going to be the name of the function. So what I'm gonna, you can call this whatever you want, and we'll write the function right underneath this one in a second. But I'm gonna call it, let's say, on throw finish, just to kind of follow with the convention that the developers use. And we'll say the name of the ghoul here. So ghoul hallway. So on throw finish ghoul hallway. And that's going to be the name of our function. And then the last thing is whether or not we want this to happen once or twice. And we want this to happen, let's just say, true. So auto remove, which means that after he throws the player once, it'll call this function once that we're going to specify here. And once we finish calling it, we're not going to call it again, even if the player gets thrown again. And now we're going to go ahead and write the function underneath here. You're wondering, how do I know what function I have to write under here, like what values to put in? So, if we pull up this again and we, do the set callback and everything here, you notice, parameter as function, name of the callback function, and they provide us with the syntax. So we just want void and then the name of the function, and it takes no parameters. So that tells us exactly how we want to format our function here. So pretty simple, but we'll do void. Now the function name, this is what we put here. So we're gonna copy this just to make sure it's identical. Then we'll do open close parentheses. It said no parameters, so we're just gonna go ahead and do open curly brace, close curly brace here. And then now we can, after the player's thrown, we can do whatever we want here. Let's just print like a debug message, and let's just print out something funny like you got yeeted. And then let's go ahead and close this out. So once you get thrown, once this happens and the throw is finished, a debug message will pop up for us that says you got yeeted. That way we know that it worked properly. And that's pretty much the main ones I wanted to demonstrate. There are other ones that I'm going to show as well. After we're going to demo this one first, and I just kind of want to touch on a few of them, just kind of explain what they do and how you use them. But let's go ahead and launch our game here and just check to make sure that all of this is working here. Alright, we're back in our levels, so let's go ahead and head over to our down the stairs and trigger that timer area down there. And let's go all the way down and trigger that timer and run back up. He should still be on hunt mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow ourselves to get caught here. And once he catches us, we should be able to see that insta-kill active. We probably won't be able to see the smelling active or anything like that. So he should. So here, there's no point in struggling here because we have insta-kill turned on. So this will kill you. And then we'll just fall to the ground. And it's going to reset, looks like. But I don't think we got thrown. I don't think we got thrown since... oh, it looks like we're getting robbed again. Alright, well, we're not going to see our on throw finish command start up here. So let's go back and let's disable the hunt, or not the hunt, let's disable the insta kill so we can see ourselves getting thrown. Alright, so let's just remove the insta kill here so that we can actually see ourselves getting thrown. So we'll put 2 slashes here to set it as a comment, that way it doesn't actually run. And let's go ahead and execute our code here and check it out. If you look at the bottom left, it says you got yeeted, and he threw us forward as we specified. So that works. So again, here on the throw finish, you can go ahead and run something. So let's say you want to like stall the enemy, or you want to give the player a chance to like run or something like that. Have the enemy do like a scream or something like that, or you want to play a sound or something. This is a good time to play it. You can run whatever you want there, and you can specify the direction just like we did here. So really good functions to know there. So let's go ahead and go back to our script. All right, so now that we got that, we tested that, all that worked and everything. We couldn't really see the smelling active because we had him in hunt mode. If he's in hunt mode, he's not really gonna smell or anything like that. But you can test that out for yourself. Check it out. So we're going to talk about a few of the other important Ghoul functions that I want to show you guys here. Less for demo purposes, but more for you guys to kind of play around with. So we won't be doing any more demos for today. I'll just kind of be going over some more functions you guys can run that might help you guys, and maybe show an example or two of how you could use in the code. So let's go ahead and talk about those. So I just kind of have a list here, and I'm just kind of go through all of these in no specific order. So first one I want to talk about is Ghoul, and we'll do cancel player throw. So pretty much what this does is it will cancel a throw that's in progress. And again, as always, you can always, like, if you type this in, you can always like see what the definition of these are. So you do like cancel player throw, you know, it says get throw damage but skip animation, and this is useful for custom throw events. So so this is pretty much all this will do, is it will cancel the actual throw that the Ghoul has, and instead just give you the damage for the throw, but it will skip any animation. And then you just use the name of the agent, which is the name of the player here, and then just whether or not you want to set it, whether or not you want to cancel the throw or not. So this would be true or false. So example of how you would use this, you know, you get this, you paste it here, and then you say, you know, true, you do want to cancel the player's throw, and there you go. So the next time the guy tries to throw you, the Ghoul tries to throw you, you will get hurt, but you won't actually get grabbed into the animation. This is perfect for like if you want to create your own throw animations or something like that, or like do a specific kind of like animation. This is where you could do it, so you can cancel out any the default throw animation and kind of use your own one. So that's a good use there. Next one is whether or not we can allow the player to be thrown. So we'll do Ghoul, and then we'll do set allow player throw. So this sets whether the player can throw the player away instead of hitting them. So if this is disabled, or if this is false, if this is disabled, then the Ghoul can only attack the player. He won't actually throw the player around. So useful if they're maybe in an area where the player can get flung off an edge or something like that, and you don't want the guy to be flinging them off the edge. Then you know, this is useful. Just have them do a hitting animation only. So you would use this the same way as you use this one here. You know, you'd get the name of your Ghoul here. You say true to allow the player to throw, false if you want him to not throw him. So instead, he will just hit the player instead of throwing him around. So a good function there to know. Next one, we'll do Ghoul set can attack. And pretty self-explanatory. It says whether or not the Ghoul can attack or not. Again, you can find your use cases for this. It could be maybe in a scene where you kind of want to scare the player and kind of like you know, have the Ghoul chase them, but you don't want them to actually get hurt. Maybe you'll despawn them like last second or something like that. This is where you could do it. This is where you can disable that or enable that. And again, this works the same way as the last ones that we talked about here. You know, you put your Ghoul, and then you put whether or not you want the Ghoul to be able to attack. So false means that you're disabling his attacking and he can't attack. He should still hunt the player, or find the player, but he won't actually do any damage. He'll just walk up to the player. And the next one we're going to talk about the Ghoul eat meat command. So that's Ghoul eat meat here. So you can specify an entity, and the Ghoul will go over and will eat the entity. So I don't know if it works with anything not me related. I don't see how I would have to test it, but I don't think it matters whether it actually is meat or not, like a human or you know, like a carcass or something like that. I don't think it matters. I think it'll just go over to whatever entity you specify. It'll play the eating animation, so you could literally have him go up to like a chair and eat the chair. You could probably do that. So again, you can use it however you want. And just an example of how you use it, you put in the Ghoul name, and then you put in the name of your object in your level that's in your level editor. So just for an example here, we'll copy the name of our ghoul here, ghoul hallway, and we'll just say like let's say we have a bottle in our level called Bottle 1, Bottle 1, which I think we do. Bottle 1, and boom. So the ghoul will go and eat this bottle, and for whatever reason. But again, you can set this to be like a carcass, like a body or something, to scare the player. That's probably what you'd use it for mainly. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is a couple of if type usage questions here, a couple of booleans here. It is ghoul is aggressive and suspicious. We're going to be mentioning these, and these are pretty much identical. Is aggressive pretty much means is whether or not ghoul is aggressive at the moment, whether he's if he spotted the player, he's aggressive right now. So this would come back as true. So if let's say he's chasing the player or something, and you have an if statement here, you want to check the player runs through like a trigger or something like that, and you want to check if the ghoul that's on him is aggressive towards him. So let's say I'm thinking like in my head, let's say there's a situation where you want the player to be able to trigger a cutscene or something like that, but you don't want it to trigger it while the ghoul in the level is currently like aggroed towards him. So this would be the perfect time to do it. So if ghoul is aggressive, don't this is just kind of pseudocode here, but don't play cutscene or something like that. It's kind of an example of how you could use that. So that's how you would use that. And this is pretty much identical to the other one, the suspicious one. So there's pretty much no difference between the two here. Ghoul is suspicious. So suspicious pretty much whenever he detects like a smell, or he hears a sound, or he's got caught a glimpse of the player or something like that. He'd be suspicious, but he's not actively hunting the player, or he's been aggroed because he completely saw the player, spotted the player. You could do that too. And I think that's all the ones I want to talk about. And feel free to go through and look at these and play around with them. We will be talking about these here. The next one, we're going to talk about these commands too, but we're going to talk about mainly the ghoul modes. I think 2 episodes from now. I'll talk about in a second. I'll mention what we're going to do in the next episode, but we'll be talking about all these practically, and kind of tell you guys. And I think the last thing we might get to is just whole networks. So they're probably a little bit more complicated out of the rest of them. That'll probably be the last thing regarding ghouls that we end up talking about. And next episode, just kind of as a sneak peek for next episode, we're going to be talking about agents. So if you do agents here, or just agents, and this kind of gives you more control over your ghouls too. Set blinded, set deafened, set senses active. You can face an entity, detect the player, reset the player detection. So a lot of stuff, animation stuff too. We're probably going to jump over the animation stuff. Let's talk about more of the ones that pertain to controlling the ghoul and how to use them. So we're going to probably touch on those in the next episode. So feel free to mess around with that in the meantime. So this is pretty much where I'm going to wrap it up. We did talk about a lot of these functions. Again, in the description, I will put a link to all the functions I have, and I'll try to, put kind of like what values you should be using for them and stuff like that for you guys to reference. So feel free to look at that. Again, there's going to be a multi-part episode regarding enemies. Again, there's just so much to talk about, so many functions. I mean, today we went over a few, and I feel this is probably just a few. In my opinion, this is only a few of the ghoul functions. Well, these are a majority of the ghoul functions, but there's a few of the things that you can do with ghouls. We still haven't talked about specifically how to set up the ghoul modes. We haven't talked about the patrolling, the guard modes. We haven't talked about the agent commands yet. That's in the next episode. We haven't talked about whole network. So there's a lot behind it. I don't want to overwhelm anybody, so I'll break it up into multiple episodes so you guys can kind of start playing with it and practicing with it and see if you have any success with it. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And again, I will be uploading I will try to upload on a schedule now from, I'll probably try 3 videos a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what I'm aiming for. So expect a video Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and maybe a bonus video here and there. If I have a quick video that I want to put out there. So that's pretty much my plan for going forward with the series. So 3 videos a week, and we'll go until I feel we've covered a majority of the main topics and stuff. And if you guys have questions and want to see things in the video, again, I'm keeping a list of all your suggestions, and I'm going through the list and crossing out everything that we talked about, and we're going to keep going until we kind of cover everything that we got through, and I have some fun projects in mind in the future that you guys might be interested in too. So stay tuned. If you haven't left a like in the video, go ahead and leave a like now. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see and stuff. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to keep track of these uploads here. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.